yeah, this is the out and about bit, and yes, of course, we went to the conference and got out and about there, but we did something else as well. Eileen, you were out and about.
We did. We went to Man City, so we got a typical Manchester welcome with lots of rain, and attendance was perhaps not what the football matches get, but we did have a huge number of teams, and the audience for Project Hack has definitely grown over the last few years. And I have to say, it's definitely becoming much more in my mind space. Who's that person there at the front? It's definitely kind of in my mind space about just starting to recognise how much we can start playing with AI. I've been to a couple of hacks before, and I've kind of been there and kind of tried to look a bit knowing, but really didn't have a Scooby what it was all about. And I'm actually just getting my head around. So we had a great time. Hopefully we're going to have some interesting things coming out of there, because we gave a challenge for the competency framework. So yes, more on that further on down the line, methinks, Lindsay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, we went straight into the hack after this. So this is what we were up to the week before.
It's been fantastic being at the PMO Conference this year. I really can't think of anywhere else where you have such an opportunity to network with key industry leaders, to really get a grip on their knowledge, their wealth of experience, and being able to take that back to my own organisation so that we can use that wealth of knowledge in our continuous improvement programmes.
Amazing show, very topical presentations, a lot of great speakers, a lot of very interesting subjects around AI, PMO best practices, how to set things up. It's just amazing show.
I went to about 4 or 5 of the different talks today and was really impressed with the quality of the speakers, with the presentations and with the information that they presented. I learned a lot today.
We've been talking about AI, we've been talking about how fast the rate of change is happening, prioritization, so how do you pick what you work on. It's been fantastic to come and just hear different people's ideas, different perspectives, and loads of people willing to have a chat, being friendly. It's been a fantastic event.
We've had some really good footfall, a lot of volume in between the sessions. Also some really interesting conversations with a whole range of industries. And we have some really promising leads to follow up with.
I've learned a lot, I've met great prospects, met up with customers face to face, which is always a pleasure, and I cannot wait to come next year and do it all again.
Yeah, so not a bad little show there, I think. Sorry,
It's amazing.
I don't know why I'm getting some noise on this one. I don't know at all. But yes, sorry. But yeah, we did another show put on, and it was great to see lots of new faces as well as people that have been before. I think the pandemic's well and truly behind us, which is great, and a lot of energy in the room. But I think one of the things that is obviously come out of that. There's a lot of content, and the people that were there are managing to look at the videos now and look at the slide decks and stuff like that, certainly for things they didn't see. And we'll also be rolling that kind of thing out, and I'm a little bit behind on it because everything else has just been going mad at the moment, but we'll be coming out with Antonio's keynote speech, which kind of set the scene for the day. And this was just one of the slide decks that came out of Antonio's talk, which a lot of people jumped onto this because we're hearing about the future of work and AI and technology changes, and perhaps our jobs are going to be at risk and all that kind of good stuff. But actually what it is the scene that he set is that there will be more change, there will be more projects, and actually the kind of AI type elements will be taking over more of the running the organization, whereas the projects still need those people to be able to manage this change. The feel from them, I think Eileen, you took something away from Antonio's as well, didn't you, just about the message for PMOs about change, and that there's going to be a lot of change within the PMO as well.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things we do in the House of PMO is we're trying to support people to kind of do what needs to be done to continue to be current in terms of the thinking around PMOs. And I think this really does sets out the challenge for PMOs going forward in terms of our role is going to take over more potentially of the kind of the work that's done in organizations, rather than being the kind of the small little kind of bit that's stuck over to one side. And
Yeah.
it'll be really interesting to see how PMOs develop in terms of people's view on kind of whether they're required or not, but also in terms of people, the reputation that PMOs have, and we may well lose that admin function reputation that, you know, in a lot of organizations still exist.
Yeah, great. I mean, you know, there's a lot to unpick from this session, and it's going to get listened to again, and some of those key messages come out, because it's interesting how some talk at the beginning of the day kind of changes people's perspectives as they go and then listen to some of the stuff that's coming at them from different streams and things. And I'm just going to share just a few more, but at least I can. These are some of the ones I actually listened to, which is mad on a day like that I did actually get to listen to. This one was about net zero PMO. I didn't realize just how many PMOs are already tackling this subject. It was completely brand new to me. I don't know about you. Is anybody here on this session today? Is it something that you're already looking at? This session came from Atkins. They're doing a lot of work around this. I appreciate it's a very complex and difficult subject that PMOs are tackling with, and I think there's more to come. So what we're taking away from that is that we're going to be carrying on the conversation with Atkins to understand the kind of things that they're doing. They're also going to be publishing something around this space as well, yeah, it's one of those, but it's new to me, but there are a lot of people in that room that are already there and already struggling. So yeah, interesting stuff. PMO of the Year award went to BT Open Reach. This is the APM PMO of the Year award, and we had one of the guys there from who've been leading that effort and you know, taking that PMO to that kind of level, which was Catherine Lum. She's basically just shared, you know, obviously their journey, how they've done it. So there's a lot in there to unpick in terms of, you know, different aspects that they've focused on. What was interesting is how quickly they've done it. It was very, very quick. When we look at some of the transformations or changes of PMO, you know, we often hear numbers like it can take a couple of years. Actually, they've done it in a very short amount of time. It's something like 9 months. So there's some stuff in there. But I think one of the great takeaways from Catherine's, apart from the fact that she's a really great leader, and you could see that just by the personality, the passion and everything else, but the other thing on there is just some of these scorings and how important some metrics had been to her team, but also to that organization. And you know, one of the things that a key thing is that she said our PMO has helped us to be more predictable. So people want to come and transform their teams as they trust us to help them. So really nice, you know, kind of insights from that team. The other one that took lots of people by surprise, because benefits management has always been one of those subjects which is can be quite a hard one. We had the day before, and I think Ben, you're on this call, so brilliant to see you. The day before at PMO Learn, we had the wonderful Ben Genny coming in and talking to us about benefits mapping. And then for the second day, we also had a session around that. It was just purely kind of coincidental, really, in terms of the planning. But of course, there were a lot of people at the conference that didn't manage to get to PMO Learn. What it has done, this session, I think you'll agree, won't you, Eileen? A really igniting of like passion for this, about how people really love it. And just thinking, that was really, really great, stunning sessions from both Ben and also from the guy at Nets.
And I think what both the sessions did, I mean, we hear about benefits management, it's on top of the too hard list, and really people don't know where to start. And I think both sessions made benefits management accessible and demonstrated that actually, you know, there's a place, there's a kind of an entry level where actually you can get some great benefits by just some very simple, straightforward principles that you can apply to mapping of those benefits.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, there's, again, like I said, there's a lot to unpick. But look what also happened. John, did you enjoy yourself taking it live to the stage?
I had a great time. It was so good to take this kind of format and do it in front of a real room of people. I must confess, I had a little nervous moment the morning of it, when I was rushing around thinking, oh, we were for those that weren't there, we had, you see people holding up those hot and not signs there. We did the hot or not thing that we do here, but we did that kind of live in the room. And I didn't realize Eileen had been super organized and already got the whole family on a sort of production line, drawing these hot or nots. So I'd been rushing around trying to get some red and green card that people could hold up. And I was suddenly wondering, how many tables will there be in the room? And I messaged Stuart and he went, who was looking after that room. And he said, not sure, maybe about 20. I thought that sounds a bit low. So I got a second opinion. I pinged Nick, who was over looking after the whole event on the day. And she came back to me and said, oh, there's 84 tables. And my initial thoughts were, I'm going to need more coloured card. But then also I was sitting there going, oh, that's a lot of people that we're going to be standing up in front of. And I must admit, I was quite nervous. And the person you see down there sitting down with me, Joanna Miller, she was the person. We have a regular hot seat thing on the show. She was in the hot seat for us that day. Joanna is a CEO, entrepreneur, and sort of product person. She very kindly agreed to join me on stage talking about networking. Very kindly, because Joanna is an introvert. She doesn't normally like standing up in front of people. She was very out of her comfort zone. And then I brought her into this room where there's hundreds of people spread out. So she was a bit grumpy with me afterwards, but she did fantastically and she got loads of good feedback for it. So if she hears this, thank you again, Joanna. It really was appreciated.
Yeah, I think one of the hot skills, because we obviously do a hot skills session sometimes, is you were doing networking, and these was some of the things that you'd kind of set people some homework. I'm just intrigued to know if there's anybody that was at the conference that took note of these and have actually done anything in terms of networking. John, can you just take us really quickly through what these actually meant and how they were shared with the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have anything to share on any of these from the conference, if you just sort of put a little reaction, thumbs up or something, so we can come to you in a second. So this was we were thinking about sort of the amount of times people go to a conference or go on a training course, and then they come back from that event, get back into the day job, and then look back 6 months later and go, oh right, it was really good fun, but nothing's really changed from what I learned and what I experienced. And a lot of people were nodding in the room. I can see Teo nodding there as I'm saying it as well, so it's resonating, right? So what we said was there was this challenge that we set everyone in the Hot House session, which was firstly, think now, as in at the session, about one thing you want to do differently following the conference. That thing about finding your first note, this was from a musician who was talking about finding it really, when people find it hard to compose music. And Philip Pullman, the author, has said similar things about writing. He said, actually, you just need to start, regardless of how you might not have that perfect tune, you might not have that perfect idea in your head. You just need to start writing. You might throw away a few drafts, but you write and write and write. You're composing. So the thing was that think about the thing you want to do differently. And the next day, think about maybe not the whole big thing because it's scary, but what's that very, very first note, that very, very first step, that first word, that first email, that first conversation you need to have to get yourself on the way. So find that and do it. The week afterwards, share the idea with people that support you and challenge you and empathize you. And this is your inner circle network. Those people that will support you, but also the people that will tell you, push you on why it's a good idea, and those that will give you a hug and sympathize with you when it's not going right, or buy into it as well. And then the last thing was, these things take time to implement. So I was really keen for people to come back over the next couple of months and tell us how they got on with that story. What change have they made? Did it work? Did it fail? Did your friends support you? I'm really keen to hear about those stories.
Yeah, well, again, you'll be able to be sharing those recordings, because I think the networking tips went down really well as well. What better place to do it than at a conference? But thanks for that. Let's move us along to the next piece.